Our number of the day is 234, and that's how old the post office is going to turn in March this year. But Rafi, the question is, how much longer could it survive?
It looks like not much longer, Akash. It's run into some deep trouble in this business rescue process. And it looks like in a matter of time, we might see it come to an end.
And here's the really sad part, because about 2.5 years ago, the post office went into business rescue, and the business rescue practitioners have been trying to turn it around. I think they need something like 3.8 million rand to get their new plan going, but Treasury doesn't seem convinced. And I guess on one hand, a lot has changed in the last 234 years where, people are not using the post office very much longer. Do you use the post office?
No, I don't. I've never used the post office. Well, perhaps when I was younger, when we were mailing letters to Santa for Christmas. But operationally, the operations have deteriorated over the years. We did an exercise as the business desk, sending letters to the team. Francis was heading that. And it's been about 4 months and we still haven't received those letters. So the issues at the post office run very deep and wide.
And I guess the sad part is the people who are going to be most affected are the workers. And, I know people who've been former employees of the post office. They haven't had their medical aids paid. They haven't had their pension funds paid for a number of years. And the sad part is that no one seems to be held responsible. It would be nice if at some point, those who got the post office to this particular point were held criminally responsible. But I guess that's not really going to happen. Although, the post office is a government entity. And let's also take heart from the fact that SAA seems to have, turned a corner.
Turned around for the better. They went through a business rescue process themselves, and they did turn the corner, and seemingly operations are back on par. But I wonder, Kash, you say that it's a state-owned entity, the post office, and sitting here today talking about it, do you really think that they will let it shut down? That they will allow the unemployment line to get longer?
Well, on one hand, it's a very real danger that there are about 6,000 workers left at the post office. As a country, can we afford all of those people to go without jobs, given the fact that we have such a high employment rate in South Africa? Yet, on the other hand, do we continue to fund them? I mean, I remember, I think it was at some point last year that 381, close to 400 million rand was made available to pay salaries. And as government, given the fact that we already, as a country, in so much debt, can we afford to pick up the wage bill of 6,000 people? And I think the answer to that is no. And at some point, some very hard decisions need to be made. They're not going to be easy for the individuals and for government and all those involved. But at some point, yes, hard decisions need to be made. But ultimately, 234. That's our number of the day. That's how old the post office is. The $1 million question, will it see 235 years?